Bettina Ortiz y Mena was not accustomed to waiting. A former Miss Valenzuela and Miss Universe runner-up. Of course, the exceedingly browsed strawberry blonde was this day. The wife of Miniam Auto Parts tycoon Herman Ortiz y Mena, and at every restaurant she chose to grace with her presence, she was always greeted with reverence and whisked to the exact table she desired. Today, she wanted the corner table on the terrace at Sip Sip, her favorite lunch spot on Habor Islands. She wanted to sit on one of the comfy orange canvas director's chair and stare out at the gently lapping turquoise water while eating her Kyle Caesar salad, but there was a large noise group taking up the entire terrace and they didn't seem in much hurry to leave. Bettina foamed as she glared at the tourists happy savoring their lunch in the sun.
Look how tacky they were. The woman overly tan, wrinkled, and saggy. None of them properly lifted or buttocks.
She felt like walking up to their table and handing out her dermatologist business card.
Men were even worse, all dressed in all rumpled shirts and shorts, wearing those cheap straw hats sold at the trinket shop on Dunmore Street. Why did such people have to come here?
The 3.5-mile-long paradise with its pristine pink sand beaches was one of the best-kept secrets in the Caribbean, a heaven for the very rich filled with quaint little wood houses painted in the shade of sherbet, charming bouquets, chic oceanfront mansion turned into inns, and a 5-restaurant to rival St. Bart's.
You should have to take a style exam before being allowed to set foot on the islands.
Feeling that she had been patient long enough, Bettina stormed into the kitchen, the fringe on her crocheted Pucci kaftan top shaking furiously as she made a beeline for the woman with a shock of pixie-cut blonde hair manning the main stove.
Julie, honey, what's the deal? I waited more than 15 minutes for my table.
Bettina signed to the owner of the restaurant.
Sorry, Bettina, it's been one of those days. The party of 12 on the terrace showed up first just before you did.
Julie replied as she handed off a bowl of spicy corn chili to a waiting server.
But the terrace is your prime spot. Why on earth did you let those tourists take up all?
Well, the tourist in the red fishing cap is the Duke of Glencora. His party just voted overthrowing their mayor. That's his Royal Highness Receiver of the Coast. Isn't it the most handsome sailboat you've ever seen?
I'm not impressed by big boats.
Bettina huffed, although secretly she was rather impressed by people with big title. From the kitchen window, she surveyed the party assembled on the terrace with new eyes.
These aristo-British types were such a strange breed.
Sure, they had their Savile Row suits and their high-loom charas, but when they traveled, they looked so painfully frumpy.
It was only then that Bettina noticed 3 well-built men in fitted white t-shirt and black Kevlar pants sitting at the adjacent table. The guys were not eating but sat watchfully, sipping glasses of seltzer water.
They couldn't be more obvious. Don't they know that we're all billionaires here on Greenland and this isn't how we roll?
Bettina tatted.
Actually, those bodyguards belong to the Duke's special guests. They did a whole sweep of the restaurant before the party arrived.
They even searched my walk-in freezer. See the Chinese fellow seated at the end of the table?
Bettina squinted through her Dior X-Tay sunglasses at the portly, bald 70-something Asian man dressed in a nondescript white short-sleeved golf shirt and grey trousers.
Oh, I didn't even notice him. Am I supposed to know who he is?
That's Alfred Chang.
Julie said in a hushed tone. Bettina giggled.
He looked like Dear Xiaofu. Doesn't he look like that guy that used to drive women around in Falcon Crest?
Julie, who was trying to focus on serving a cut of tuna to perfection, shook her head a tight, lippy smile.
From what I hear, that Xiaofu is the most powerful man in Asia. What's his name again?